Here are the headlines for today. Rape Amendment Bill tabled. Justice Minister Yvonne Dowsab this week tabled the Rape Amendment Bill, which will extend the length of prison sentences for sex offenders. In other news, residents of Oshiwarongo worried about potholes. Following the recent good rains, a lot of potholes have developed on roads across the country, and residents of the central town of Namibia are quite worried about the potholes in their town. And to conclude, Keetmanshoop in 4.3 million lawsuit battle. The Keetmanshoop municipality is currently embroiled in a lawsuit battle to the value of 4.3 million. To read more about that, please grab yourself a copy of the Namibian Sun tomorrow. Enjoy the interview. Welcome to the Evening Review, Mungeli. How are you?
All good. How are you, sir?
Fine, fine. I wanted to know from your side, as the national organizer of the Namibia Independent Security Union,
All right.
are you seeing adherence to the labor laws from the employers of security guards?
All right. Thank you for the question. So, we are into an engagement at every time. So, the employers, the three parties that are involved in the industry, employers, employees, and the union, so to say. So, we are having that a cycled relationship whereby we are always aware of the information, and we are always engaging with our employees and employers to create that relationship. So as a union, we are really up to date with the information that is circulating the industry, security industry.
But now, what I wanted to know is, employers are supposed to provide, for example, the safety boots, the uniform, the safety equipment that they would need in case they face
Right.
danger like guns or sufficient bullets or the pepper spray and so on. And then a second leg to that is obviously the payment of wages and acceptable wages.
All right.
Are you seeing that being respected and adopted by employers of security guards?
All right. Thank you for the question. So there are many security companies in the security industry. Some companies are adhering to this, and they are into place of providing the safety clothes that's really required. So to say, starting from the boots until to the head or a cap itself.
Yes.
So there are those companies that are really providing it. And each and after 3 years or 2 years, they are really providing a uniform, a new one, so to say. But there are some other companies whereby you will get security guards wearing torn clothes and even not having safety equipment for them to use at the sites where they are. So to say, let's take as an example, you'll find some security guards guarding an ATM, but without a gun, only with a button stick. So that is there are some companies. So now, to answer to the question, there are some companies that are so negligent in terms of the healthy and safety of security guards. So, and we have companies that are complying to the minimum wage that was in force since 2017. That for this minimum wage was proposed in 2016. whereby within that term of 2016, if you already made a year within a company, so when now this minimum wage came into effective, then that person who's already who made a year within a company, then should be paid a $10 per hour. And for those that did not make a year within a company, then should be paid $8.75 per hour. But when you look to the companies that are complying to the minimum wage, there are only few here in Namibia. Most of them, they are just paying whatever they feel like to pay. So that's why as a union, we are very much concerned on this, and we are very aware of this, and it is what we are fighting for. Thank you.
You've mentioned this minimum wage being paid by some companies. What is being done from your part as a union to ensure that security guards are being paid what they ought to be paid? Have you engaged the Ministry of Labour, for example? How often are you conducting meetings with the employers of security guards or the security firms in Namibia?
All right, thank you. For this minimum wage, for it to come into force, it was signed by three unions, three security unions, which is NISU, NASGAO, and Natau. That was 2016, and it was through Labour Commissioner's office. So the Labour Commissioner's office is aware of this issue, that there are some companies that are not complying, and there are some companies that are complying to this minimum wage. And then, often at a union level, we have been here and there try to engage with employers, with companies on this minimum wage, for them to pay this minimum wage. There are those that have complied and they are paying it. But there are those ones that will tell you a lot of excuses. The clients, they are not paying on time, so the money that I'm receiving into my account is not that much enough, so otherwise the company will run at negative. So there are a lot of that and so on. But as a union, we really engage them on this. Thank you.
Before we go for a break, I want to ask one more question, and this relates now to an issue that you raised, that, for example, you would find a guard that does not have an at an ATM that does not have a gun.
All right.
How much of a danger is this for security guards to be guarding places such as this that may carry a lot of money, and they do not have the sufficient equipment to be able to protect themselves? How concerned are you, and how much of a concern is it to other security guards?
All right. We are very much concerned, and that's 100% danger in terms of healthy and safety. So it is a much wonder. Also, it will be a surprise to a Namibian person or a Namibian nation, so to say, when we talk about FNB, so to say, or else any other banking.
Bank. Let's rather not mention any of the specific names.
All right. Let's just say they are commercial banks.
Commercial banks, yes.
Yes, these are commercial banks that we are having here in Namibia. So, when someone is guarding at a commercial bank, so to say, and the commercial bank itself should also be aware of how is their branch, and how is their branch being operating, and how is it protected. So, is the agreement that need to come in, that the client and the company should meet and have a solution towards the problem that's on hand. So if the company, so to say, if now one of the bank is now being broken, so to say, so it's the loss of the bank and the company itself. So now, when we talk about safety in that matter, it is now our concern as a union to at least come up with an amicable solution. How should we do that? It's only by engaging with the company and the client, or else just engaging with the company so that the company should have protective equipment in place in order for them to deliver the sufficient service to this client. Otherwise, we are very much concerned of that.
I'll come back to you now with additional questions, but before
right.
we proceed with our interview, quickly like to go for a short commercial break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back to the evening review. Mungeli, I want to go into another matter, and this relates now to general working conditions of security guards. You've obviously mentioned the lack of sufficient equipment some security guards have regarding certain places. But another issue I want to touch on is when we go home, for example, when at night or in the evening over public holidays, you would find security guard, for example, being confined to a small space and then they have to look over a big property.
All right.
When one assesses these things, do you think enough is being done to ensure, from the point of employers now, to ensure that where securities find themselves, the environment is as comfortable as possible, but also comfortable enough to ensure that the security guard has it within him or herself to guard the places that they are guarding?
All right. So the take on that, on the point, is that we are very aware that when these employers are applying for tenders, and there comes a time if they have won this tender, there always used to be an orientation and induction to the place. So they are really aware. So whenever you are having a campaign, so to say, you are really aware on a ground level that how and what does it take for a security guard to guard that place. So safety should be considered or should be in place. You will find some sites whereby there's no even like a guard room. And once it is now raining, so you will find a security guard being rained just there. So it doesn't really give us a nice feeling as a union, just to be watching security guards suffering just like that. So the sites should be oriented by the company. So if the company is not happy with the site, there comes a cancellation in the agreement. But what's happening here in Namibia, mostly of these security companies, is that they will only accept whatever offer that comes as long as they are just getting money, regardless of how the security guard will feel outside there. So that is at a company level. Every company that is very much concerned with their workers, they are not having bedsides. Let's talk about facilities at sites. You will find some sites are not even having toilets. But how is it that? So to say, we had many scenarios of a security guard leaving the site for at least 3 minutes to go to the facility. Then coming back, things are already done at the site. So to say, things are being stolen at the site. Because those thieves that are stealing, they are always watching on the security guard's move. So whatever move that he makes or she makes, then for them they pop in. So these are some scenarios that we are really busy fighting for. Yes.
And then lastly, there's a matter that an issue that your union has raised, that employers have now resorted to paying their security guards via e-wallet, blue voucher, and so on.
Yes.
How concerning is this? And what do you suggest should be done going forward?
All right. To be in the same line, there are contracts that are being signed by security guards before they start working in a company. So this company, in that contract that they are always giving employees, they are stipulating that the money or the salary that need to be paid to the employees will be paid into their bank accounts. To an extent of employees, these security guards, go into a bank and open a bank account. So it means that once a person opens that bank account, that account is not really having a good standing yet, because the person is expecting the salary to be paid into the bank account. But then, what is happening to some other security companies is that they are always trying to do what is outside the contract signed by the employees. It happens that there are a lot of companies that are trying to do something that is not binding to the labor law. We had a complaint previously of this other company paying its employees through e-wallet. So the company did not even communicate to them that your money will be paid through e-wallet. But the agreement was that the money will be paid into their bank accounts. Just due to that, the company should just take whatever decision that it takes without employees' consent. That's why they are doing this. They are paying their employees using e-wallet, blue vouchers, and so forth. These EFT transactions are just happening, or they are now being misused by these security companies. So we are very much concerned. As a union, we are representing these members. And whatever happens to them, it happens to us. Whatever happens to them, it also happens to the company. At the end of the day, the cycle should be pure in order for us to have a good reputation. But now, at the end of the day, whatever happens in the process is the security guard to suffer at the end of the day. They are having, security guards are having accounts to settle, so to say. But now, what will happen if the money is not paid straight into the bank account of that person and is now paid via e-wallet? How will that person settle the account? that the person is having. It might be that the person took a property from furniture, so to say, and is now on stop order. How is this? As a union, we are very much concerned of this, and we are really trying to engage with these security companies. So professionalism should be applied at whatsoever level, at any level, to say. And the agreement within the contract of employment should be adhered to in order for us to have a good standing. So that is our take on that point.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you for joining us on the Evening Review. Do you have yourself a pleasant evening? Goodbye.